Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and a new update from Pete Sessions. We're also going to be looking at talk about legal theory on the U3 halt, and also looking at ticker symbol NNE, which is a stock that we have been following recently, and this was up in excess of 40% close of play on the Friday, and then finishing off by having a look at a review of the weekly watch list, so stay tuned for that. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, we can see here from investing.com, the US stocks rise to end the week as cool inflation data lifts. We can see the Dow Jones was up 0.3%, S&P 500 was also up 0.33%, and the Nasdaq was up 0.32%. So overall, not too bad a week. And from Market Watch here, we can see that the opinion is that lower inflation and no recession looks set for stocks to have a summer stunner. So hopefully good news there for the market. But let's have a look at the heat map for the 2024 for the first half of the year, and we can see again it is overall significantly up, and I think the tech sector, communication sector have done exceptionally well, including Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Google and Amazon. So and finally, if we have a look at what happened in the market with regard to Nike, Nike shares had their worst day in history after reporting earnings, and I think it was down in excess of 20% at $75.33. So one that we will be watching. So let's start by getting the update from Pete Sessions. So shout out here to Paul, who shared the letter, and he stated here, most of you know I live in New Jersey, and he's also received this letter by USPS from Pete Sessions' office regarding MMTLP. So in the letter, Paul has stated that Pete is saying that he's still committed to seeking answers to his multi-jurisdictional issue, and there is an attachment also to the press release with regard to the SEC complaints against John Berda and George Palacaro. So let's have a look at the letter that Paul has shared, and we can see here that this is dated June the 25th, 2024 from Pete Sessions, and it basically states here, he's writing to provide you with the latest information released by the SEC regarding obviously concerns with regard to Metamaterials former CEOs John Berda and George Palacaro, and he states his office has been addressing the MMTLP and the Knightsbridge Hydrocarbons office with the SEC and FINRA on December the 6th, 2022 as a result of the feedback from a constituent in Texas. So I think what Pete Sessions needs to recognize is that he's been dealing with this now for well over a year now with absolutely zero progress. So that's something that he needs to recognize and accept. But Pete Sessions also goes on to say his approach has been to diligently listen. I think that's all he's done, because we don't want, after listening, we also want action. So he's saying he has listened, he's disseminated relevant information, he's been specific with regard to communications, and he's stating here he remains committed to seeking answers on this. So in true politician style, this is a true political answer. And he states here the SEC's investigative work on this portion was revealed today, and he has attached that relevant information for your review. So basically, I think Pete Sessions is assuming that nobody, or certainly Paul, has not seen this, and trying to say this is an update, but this is not a specific update that Pete Sessions has gained by himself. So he's just basically sharing publicly available information. And he states here, while the update represents a step in the process, I don't believe it does. He's also stated it's important to recognize that it's merely one part of a broader effort. So could you also elaborate on what this broader effort is, Pete? Because certainly I don't think any MMTLP investor out there knows that. So he's also going to say we have an ongoing dialogue with other offices and the House Financial Services Committee. I think what we know is that you also have an ongoing dialogue with Ari Rubenstein, so please explain that one. And he states here, I value the involvement of investors and ask that you continue your work with us as the process continues. So I think Pete Sessions is certainly living in cloud cuckoo land, and I think he certainly seems to be working with the wrong investors, potentially with the wrong market makers, and I think we need to have him stop listening, but we need to have more proactivity, and we need to have more action, and we also need to have him go back to try to get information from Congress, especially with regard to the subpoena. Let's now follow that out by looking at a post from RareDD with regard to GTS securities, and we can see here obviously Mr. Ari Rubenstein, who is behind GTS securities, and what RareDD has stated is that most of GTS financials proof that the two GTS employees that took the blame appear to still be employed by GTS. And I think in terms of records, we can see here that the NYSE is held in higher regard than the OTC and seem to have tighter regulations. I would also suggest that the NYSE is certainly in higher regard than the NASDAQ as well, because there is a history of prosecuting GTS securities, including Ari Rubenstein from the NYSE, but not from the OTC. And what Pocahontas has stated in response to this is this is truly a case of the fox guarding the henhouse, and the fox certainly seemed to be all tanned. So let's have another follow-up here to this from Costas, who stated here, asking for MMTLP friends. We know that FINRA always say that they are an SRO with immunity, which makes no sense because nobody should be above the law, but apparently FINRA are. Broker dealers are the employees of FINRA. They are the people who are funding FINRA, and obviously FINRA are claiming to be the ones that are having immunity, and we know people from Fidelity, TradeStation, TDA, Robinhood, etc. are people who are sitting on boards such as the board that decided the U3 halt. And obviously if we look at any RICO action, then that also needs to look at global market makers, but at the moment there certainly does not seem to be any repercussions. Let's now have a look at talk on the new legal theory on the U3 halt, and what Rosa has posted is who has information on the U3 panel. So we know these members of the U3 panel include members of the broker dealers, and what Curtis has stated is obviously he will fill her in on everything she needs to know, and what she stated here is that she potentially has a legal theory on this. So in terms of the individuals, we know that they have been now identified, certainly by Curtis, and what Rosa is stating basically is in terms of the individuals and the institutions, do they work for FINRA or were they an advisory board? What now I'd like to do is have a look at ticker symbol NNE, also known as Nano Nuclear Energy. It's a stock that has been previously featured in a number of videos, so go ahead and check those out. So in terms of a key reminder of some of the catalysts, we know that they have an acquisition of Novel cooling technology. So this intellectual property is groundbreaking, and it looks like technology which is basically looking at an annual linear induction pump, and this is something that is going to be playing a crucial role in the company's innovative micro reactor design. So in terms of the revenue streams, we can see here the company is optimistic about commercialization going forward and also meeting increasing energy demands. So let's have a look at the chart. So we can see here over the previous day it was up in excess of 44.51%, and there were significant opportunities in the week where it did go down quite significantly, and it did come back up strongly on the Friday up in excess of 44%, and this is a stock that was on our watch list. So we can see here at one point Monday to Tuesday it was up in excess of 113%. Good opportunity there to take profits. There was then a sell-off quite significantly, and then that strong bounce that we saw on the Friday. So ticker symbol EPOW, that was another call that was up over 40% on Monday and also closed up 10% on the week. TALO, that was up 7.3% on the week. AVPT was up 4.1% on the week. ICU, that was also up 20% on Monday and also up 1% on the week. TTSH closed level on the week, and NXL, that was up 70% Monday, 80% Monday to Wednesday, and then there was a sell-off and it closed down 5% on the week. SRPT, that was down 2.6% on the week. GRI, that was up 10% Monday to Tuesday, before a sell-off closing down 32% on the week. So it is always a good idea to take profits, and not all calls are successful. So if you would like to get the next copy of the weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.